Are you looking for an athletic scholarship? You're in the right place. This is the Recruit Me Athletic Scholarship Podcast, the longest-running podcast on recruiting and athletic scholarships. We're here to help your family navigate the recruiting road all the way to an athletic scholarship. He's a recruiting expert and a dad of 2 college athletes. He has a wealth of experience to share. Here's Recruit Me CEO, Brent Hanks.
Welcome to episode 467 of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast. I'm sorry this episode is a day late, but I'm glad you joined me. Again, my name is Brent Hanks, and I've been the host of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast since June 2020, and the owner of the Recruit Me LLC Athletic Recruiting Education Company. The Recruit Me company was started by John Fugler in 2002. John developed recruiting tools to help student athletes and their families navigate their recruiting journey. Recruit Me provided student athletes with free resources like the free Recruiting Power Pack and the Athletic Scholarship Podcast, along with the Recruit Me 3.0 Athletic Scholarship System. The Recruit Me 3.0 system was updated in 2018 and continues to provide today's helpful tools for families. John developed his 7 steps to an athletic scholarship in the early 2000s, and those 7 steps have proven as effective and still relevant throughout all of the years up to today. The foundation of Recruit Me are these 7 steps to an athletic scholarship. The 7 steps are: Step 1, select the right schools to contact. Step 2, write a great introductory email. Step 3, create your one-page player profile. Step 4, build your recruiting questionnaire. Step 5, track your communications. Step 6, send one-page updates. And Step 7, make your school choice wisely. These 7 steps have been proven to be effective for potential student athletes trying to continue to play their sport in college. And these 7 steps that were developed back in 2002 have been repeated and replicated by many. Many of the recruiting services and recruiting education companies that you see online share many of the basics of recruiting. Recruit Me started with the 7 steps back in 2002, and those 7 steps, even though they are very basic, are still relevant today, even in this changing 2025 recruiting world. Even with all the changes in the transfer portal, NIL, changing roster and scholarship numbers, and social media, a potential student athlete must start with and lean on the basics. Recruit Me's basics. If you look at other recruiting advice resources, some like Honest Game, which started in 2019, NCSA, which started in 2002, Keep Playing Baseball started in 2011, and Sports Recruits started in 2008. These are just a few of the examples of resources and when they started. Most all of these pare down to the most basics of recruiting that Recruit Me emphasized since 2002. You can find these basics somewhere on their website. The rest of this episode is going to be a replay of a past episode of the Athletic Scholarship Podcast, episode 301 from 2022, and it gives you insight into Recruit Me's time-proven 7 steps to an athletic scholarship. Let's get into these time-proven 7 steps. In this episode, I introduce you to why the Recruit Me 3.0 system is a valuable resource in your recruiting journey. And at the end of most of these sections in this manual is a key point summary of that section and discussion points for both the student athlete and the parents to discuss and think about. Sections that include the 7 steps to an athletic scholarship. Step 1, select the right schools to contact. Step 2, write a great email or cover letter. Step 3, create your one-sheet profile. Step 4, build your questionnaire. Step 5, track your communications. Step 6, send one-page updates. And Step 7, make your school choice wisely. So let me give you key points and discussion points to help you get that athletic scholarship. With all the athletic scholarships handed out each year, how can my son or daughter get one? That's a question you might be asking. I asked that question several years ago. So I embarked on a journey to get an answer. I entered a world I knew nothing about and learned a lot along the way. There's a lot to watch out for, and you could end up spending a lot of money needlessly. In the pages of the Recruit Me 3.0 Athletic Scholarship System, you'll get an education in the recruiting process, and you'll avoid the pitfalls that many parents and student athletes fall into. The manual of the Recruit Me 3.0 system is designed to be your textbook for the full step-by-step Recruit Me recruiting system. It's an invaluable resource that you should come back to often. Along with the other resources you have within the system, you'll have the tools you need to get the job done successfully. This system is for both parents and student athletes. Parents, you will learn how to get your son or daughter recruited, and you'll be able to take the steps to make that happen. Student athletes, if you follow the steps in the Recruit Me system, college coaches will start contacting you and recruiting will begin. With the Recruit Me 3.0 system, you'll save time, money, and energy by following the process I will guide you through. You could hire a service or a consultant, but in most cases there is no need to pay them thousands of dollars to get recruited. At a fraction of the cost, parents and athletes, you can do most everything that these services do, if you're willing to do the work. As a matter of fact, a friend reminded me the other day that even with recruiting services, you end up doing most of the work anyway. The Recruit Me system that I will teach you is simple, but it is not easy or trivial. You have to do the work. But I don't believe in complex processes. You certainly don't need one either. You just need the dedication and commitment to follow the simple steps that I'll teach you in the system. The Step 1 section is select the right schools to contact. Parents, this can be a fun process as you sit down with your son or daughter and let him or her dream a little. I would bet that you already have your top 3 or 4 choices of schools that you'd like your child to consider. But remember, it is their choice. While you should present the benefits of the schools that you have in mind, your top schools are merely a schools on a list as far as your son or daughter is concerned. Student athletes, consider the following questions and discuss them with your mother or father. Get the topics out in the open. Some questions you can discuss are, do I want to stay in-state? Do I want to go to a large or a small school? What part of the country do I want to go to? How tough academically do I want the school to be? What am I interested in studying? What conference do I want to compete in? Any favorite schools? What level? NCAA Division I, Division II, Division III, NAIA, or junior college? How about the reputation and the quality of the team? Does cost matter? These are some of the questions you'll want to discuss together. By determining the parameters of your school, then you can start surfing and exploring for schools. You can also maybe even consider a road trip together to visit schools and campuses. Another part of this step is to plan to introduce yourself to a lot of coaches. When I say a lot of coaches, how many? I recommend at least 20 to 25, but eventually, preferably 40 to 50 schools. How do you build your list? Start by getting college information on the internet. There are many ways that we cover how to do research on schools in the manual. Some of the key points on the Select the Right Schools to Contact section are, there are basic questions that the student athlete and the parents should ask themselves before looking at schools, because this will help you focus on schools that are a best fit for you. You should contact 40 to 50 schools for the best long-term results, and certainly no less than 20. You can search out school and coach details by using the internet. Things to discuss. As a student athlete, which schools are at the top of your list right now? As a parent, which schools would you like your son or daughter to consider? What things are the most important to you as you look for a school? The next section of the Recruit Me 3.0 Athletic Scholarship Manual is step number 2, write a great email or cover letter. Now that you've compiled at least a starter list of schools, the next process to take you through is the steps of contacting the coaches. In this section, one of the questions is, can I just contact the coaches online? Most college programs have an online questionnaire waiting for you to fill out on their website. We suggest you doing an introductory email or cover letter. We want you to make a good first impression when you're going to contact a college program. This section goes through the basics of your email or cover letter. And some of the steps are, make it your email, make it brief, choose your words carefully, tell the truth, and be interesting. Again, you want to make a good first impression. Some people ask, mail or email. I used to recommend that athletes not make their initial contact by email, but times have changed. Most coaches expect to receive emails from prospective athletes. However, I still feel that you can make a strong impression by regular mail, so don't rule that out. So few athletes are sending things through regular mail, it's a great way to get a coach's attention. Do the opposite of what everybody else is doing, and you'll make an impression. Also, with email, you're not sure if it's going to end up in the coach's inbox. It may just go to the junk folder. You'll think that he or she is not interested in you, when in reality they didn't see your email. If you do not hear back from the coach in 3 or 4 weeks, I recommend you send the intro piece by regular mail. Sometimes it takes that extra effort to get the coach's attention. This section of the Recruit Me 3.0 manual also talks about the writing process flow, like how you introduce yourself with the who, what, where, and when about yourself, your athletic abilities, your personal interests like why you enjoy competing in your sport, what you're currently doing in your sport, and how you would benefit the team. This section walks you through the email writing process and gives you examples of how you can individualize your email. This section also gives you a couple sample cover letters. Again, you can go in and individualize them with your information so that you can make a good first impression on a college coach. Key points to write a great email or cover letter. Send a personal email or cover letter to a coach. Your letter should be brief. Write it as one page or just a few paragraphs. Then you can copy and paste it into your email. Write a sample or a model letter that you can personalize for each school and each coach. Have a couple friends or family members read your sample letter and make suggestions. If a coach does not respond in 3 weeks to your email, send your introductory packet by mail or even call. Things to discuss about this section. When will you have your sample email or letter completed? What will you set as your deadline to send it to your list of coaches? Parents, how can you help your son or daughter in this step of the process? The next section of the Recruit Me 3.0 Athletic Scholarship Manual is create your one-page profile. Now that you've written your email or cover letter, you will use it as a model to send to all the schools. Personalize it to each school. The next step is to create a one-sheet profile, which tells the coach about your abilities and your achievements. This is really a resume. In this section, we cover the 10 sections of the one-sheet profile. Section 1 is your name. Section 2 is a short headline that jumps off the page, like 87-mile-an-hour fastball and 3.6 GPA. Section 3 is your sport and your position or positions. Section 4 is you and your family, where you include your address, phone number, email addresses, year of birth, year of graduation, number of people in your family, number of children in college when you enter, your GPA, and your ACT or SAT scores if you have them. Section number 5 has information about your school and coaches, your high school coach, your school's office phone, secondary coaches like your summer or club coach, and his or her phone number. Section 6 is physical information. Your height, your weight, your speed, your strength, whatever data is important to your sport. Dominant hand or foot, and other sports that you compete in. Section 7 of the profile is a narrative summary of your general strengths, as well as your team and league information. Also, mention other sports that you compete in. Section 8 is a narrative of specific stats and achievements. This is where you brag about yourself, telling the coach about everything that you do well and backing it up with stats. Section 9 is your potential. What do you expect to achieve in your coming year in high school? This is a good spot to get maybe a quote from a coach. Section 10 is a photo of you, and we suggest you do it not in a uniform but in street clothes. If you go to recruit-me.com and download the free Recruiting Power Pack, the player profile is one of the 3 things that you get in the free Recruiting Power Pack. So go there now, recruit-me.com. In this section, it tells you to send your cover letter or introductory email and your one-sheet profile together as an introductory package. Key points in creating your one-page profile. Your one-sheet player profile tells the coaches about you and your abilities and achievements. There are several formats you can use, but be sure to stick to the key information explained in this chapter. At this point, the player profile and your email or cover letter are the only things that you send to the coach right now. Things to discuss. Who should we contact for quotes about my abilities and achievements? What information do I not have that I still need to pull together to complete my player profile? The next section of the Recruit Me 3.0 manual is Step 4, Build Your Questionnaire. So what happens when a coach receives your letter and profile? If they are interested, they will send or email you a questionnaire or instruct you to go to their website to fill out the online questionnaire or information form. The coach may also request video, send you camp information, or send you a packet of information on the school. Any communication you receive from a coach, except a rejection, is good news. It means they're as interested and the lines of communication are open. In this section, we suggest that you build your own questionnaire. Most questionnaires ask the same questions, so if you build your own questionnaire and send it to the college coaches, it will not only save you time, but it'll make you stand out a little bit from other recruits. Some college coaches may ask you to go ahead and go online and fill out the questionnaire, but you're still saving time because you know all the answers to the questions on their questionnaire. Key points to build your own questionnaire. Instead of completing every school's questionnaire, build your own, which incorporates all the information a coach will need to have. Build your questionnaire quickly after you send out your emails and letters, because you will begin receiving responses from coaches in a few days. Send your upcoming season schedule, if you have it already, when you send your completed questionnaire. Things to discuss. Are you feeling overwhelmed right now in the process? Are you doing okay? If you're overwhelmed, where do you need help? What are your college dreams? The next section of the Recruit Me 3.0 manual is Track Your Communication. You've sent out emails, letters, and profiles to dozens of coaches, and you should start getting some responses now. In this section, it talks about journaling your interactions. We recommend creating 9 columns: the school, the coach, phone and email, your interest level, none, low, high, or medium, sent letter and profile, enter the dates, sent questionnaire, enter the date, sent video link, enter the date, updates sent, enter the date and what you sent, contact dates and notes. You can do this on paper, you can do it on a spreadsheet, or check out the Recruit Me Scholarship 24-month planner and journal. You can find information on that book at recruit-me.com under the Resources tab. This section also talks about how to be ready for calls from coaches, and it talks about how to have your own questions ready. It talks about what do you say when you talk to a coach. And the key points on Track Your Communications are: things can get out of control if you don't have a good tracking system for all the letters and the phone calls. The best tracking tool is a chart that you can complete as you go through the recruiting process. Have your questions for the coach ready in advance so you can ask when he or she calls. And it gives you ideas for questions to ask a coach. Things to discuss. What are some questions I want to ask the coach when they call? Parents, what do you want to ask? The next section of the Recruit Me 3.0 manual is Step 6, set up one-page updates. You need to continue communicating with coaches throughout the recruiting process. Don't stop communicating. Send an update after every season. And in this section, it tells you what your one-page update should look like. You need to send information with your name, your city, your state, a heading, your current GPA, and then updates can have academic honors, athletic highlights, athletic awards and achievements, stats from your latest season, other vital info on your achievements or competition, immediate future plans, a special moment, and then make sure and put your address and phone number at the bottom. An example of an update would be, Dear Coach, I just received my SAT scores and wanted to let you know so you can update my file. My scores were, fill in the blank. Thanks for your continued interest in me. I'm still interested in your program. I will continue to update on my athletics and academics. Key points on sending one-page updates. Sending one-page updates tells the coach that you are still interested in the school. Send an update at the end of each high school or club season. Send shorter updates when there is something significant to report to coaches. It is important to keep communicating with coaches or they will stop communicating with you. Things to discuss. Are there some new schools that I'm interested in now? Do I need to send an introductory letter, profile packet to some other new coaches? The next section of the Recruit Me 3.0 manual is Step 7. Make your school choice wisely. The question is, I have offers from several schools I like. How do I choose which to accept? Here's a checklist we've put together to make the choice easier when it comes down to the end. Net cost comparison, scholarship offer, academic quality of the school, academic match, quality of the athletic program, the coaching staff, the coach's interest level in you, the potential for becoming a better athlete in the program, the potential for earning a starting position within the first 2 years, and your overall impression. You can make a scorecard for each school and rate them 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, or A, B, C, or D. Key points to make your final school choice wisely. There is no absolute formula for choosing the right school. A checklist can help you develop a report card for each school. This will also help you to make a more objective decision. Things to discuss. What schools are your top choices right now and why? Parents, what do you think about those choices? Thank you for listening to the Athletic Scholarship Podcast, and join me next week for another 15 minutes that will change your athletic scholarship future.